And there we go. Took me a second to get that audio on. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Let's Talk Jurassic here on the Jurassic Park Podcast YouTube channel. I am Brad Jost, the host of the podcast, and today we've got a whole slew of things going on. We're going to be looking at some of the recent news, and we're going to discuss all of your questions out there. I don't feel like we usually do this. I usually come prepared with a bunch of topics ready to go. This week, I figured, you know what? Why don't I reach out to you guys, see what you guys want to talk about? And I reached out via our Facebook group and here on YouTube. So make sure to keep your eyes peeled for stuff like that in the future. I'll go ahead and write on the community tab, just hey guys, what do you want to see in the next video? And then the same thing goes for the Facebook group. If you guys are not on our Facebook group, make sure to go join that. Go to Facebook, search for the Jurassic Park Podcast Facebook group, and go ahead and answer. There's two questions there. One question, the first question, very easy question. Name somebody from the movie. Name a character or an actor's name. I forget exactly what it is, but one of those questions. And then the other question is name a contributor or host from the Jurassic Park podcast. So that's me. I'm one of them. There's plenty others. We have 12 people or something like that contributing to the podcast, the writing team, whatever it may be. So just go ahead and leave those two questions answered, and we'll go ahead and accept you into the Facebook group where you can join into conversations that you will see here today in our live stream. So this is going to be a fun one, I think. There's some fun stuff. I've kind of previewed the questions. I haven't really thought about them too hard or anything yet, but I'm excited by them. I do want to mention. Look, you guys are already asking right now as I'm doing this. I see it popping up on my phone. People are asking to join that Facebook group. So thank you guys for doing that. I can't, I should probably accept it, but I'm in the middle of a live stream, man. So, yeah, so if you guys haven't yet, go download our podcast. We have a new episode out this week. This is the first episode of January for the Jurassic Park podcast. So, of course, as always with our first episode, it's the Jurassic Mailbag, guys. Our patented listener segment, question segment, where we have everybody call in via voicemail or submit MP3s via email. Or questions written up on our website or email. And we had a ton of stuff to go through, as always. And let's see. Yeah, there was some really fun stuff in this one. Some really crazy stuff that we kind of deciphered, which I'm going to talk about here in a minute. Some stuff we kind of just stumbled upon, some cool news, I think, as we were recording. And then at the end, I would suggest, now this is a 2-hour episode, not this one right here, but the Jurassic Mailbag on the podcast feed. Just look on, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you listen to your podcasts. So at the end of the episode, it's 2 hours long. There's a little thing, a little tag on the end of the segment, on the end of the episode, which was me and Jen just recording for an extended period of time, just rambling. So go listen to that and make sure you make it all the way to the end for some fun stuff. Let's see. I know there's a bunch of people here in the chat, so hello to everybody out there in the live chat right now. Make sure to share this video around, like it, comment, do whatever you need to. Let's get this conversation rolling because we have a lot to talk about here. So I'm going to save these questions that you ask for the end if I can get to them. But like I said, I have already. I have some questions and stuff via Facebook and YouTube here as well. So we'll get to those in just a bit. But first, I want to talk about some kind of, I don't know if you can call it news or whatever it may be, but we did kind of stumble upon something pretty cool in the last Jurassic Mailbag episode. So as Jen and I were going through the questions, I think it was the first question from one of our listeners, Leighton. So shout out to Leighton over there. Thank you for sending in a question. And it was about Michael Giacchino and do you think we'll see him return and stuff like that. And Leighton actually mentioned this concert at Royal Albert Hall out in London. So apparently it was a showdown kind of thing between Michael Giacchino and David Arnold. So David Arnold, I think, does James Bond stuff, a bunch of other stuff. I don't know off the top of my head, to be honest. But the two of them kind of showcasing their musical talents with a full orchestra and stuff like that. And it sounds really, really awesome. So I do have a write-up on our website about this information. So if you want to, let's see here, I can bring up the window. Oh, that's huge. All right, so I'll transition that in. So I kind of just asked everybody, do you think Michael Giacchino is going to be part of Jurassic World 3? So let me move this over just a tad. Sorry if it's a little glitchy. I have to be on the page. All right, so I was kind of asking the question, do you think Michael Giacchino is going to be part of Jurassic World 3? Because as far as this moment, we have not really received any kind of official news or correspondence via press releases or anything like that. We've gotten a few releases of information because we've gotten a bunch of casting announcements. We originally got the announcement of Colin returning to direct, with the producers returning, Pat Crowley and Frank Marshall and Steven Spielberg and Colin producing. So we got all that kind of information already. And of course, the big three, there was a big press release for that. We heard about Daniela Pineda and Justice Smith, as well as the newcomers, Mamoudou Athie and DeWanda Wise. I think that's about it as far as official stuff. But we have not ever received any kind of official confirmation about Michael Giacchino. So it's been interesting to kind of wonder where that is. By this time in the production of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, we actually already heard about Michael Giacchino coming back. Now, obviously, it's safe to assume, he's coming back. It's very safe to assume because he's a pretty reliable composer, so he tends to come back to the franchises that he's allowed to create for. So, coming up in 2021, he does have a pretty expansive slate already with The Batman, Doctor Strange 2, which is Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Apparently, I think it's like an animated movie called Extinct. We can assume that he's going to be back for Spider-Man 3 in the MCU. So really, where does Jurassic World 3 come into play here? Because that's a lot of stuff. That is a lot of stuff. He was recently announced for the Batman, so that's a big deal. Obviously, the MCU stuff's a big deal. So Jurassic, it always we always wondered, is he phasing out because of all this stuff that's being announced or what? So anyway, back with this Royal Albert Hall performance thing, Colin Trevorrow came out, and this, let me see here, I wrote it down, Soundtracks PL on YouTube, which is this account that you can see right behind me here. They uploaded this really funny video, actually. It's like Colin comes out, and he basically, I'm not going to play the video, I might play some of the audio here, but Colin basically comes out, and he's like, hey guys, I just want to talk about how Michael Giacchino is such a great composer, blah, blah, blah. His work with Jurassic, blah, all this stuff. He's kind of just giving him all these accolades. And then Giacchino kind of interrupts him. And he's like, hey, Colin, thanks for coming. I didn't invite you to come up here on the stage. I invited you to go sit in the seats and watch. But thank you for coming. So it was this awkward interaction between them. Colin's like, oh, okay. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. So within that, there was actually some really interesting tidbit. I'm gonna go ahead and play some of the audio here. So let me fade over here and bring this up here just for a second. All right, so I'm gonna transition over here. You can still hear me, so let's go ahead and play this audio. This is from, by the way, the recent episode of the Jurassic Mailbag, as we were discovering what we were hearing.
One of the world's greatest living composers.
Fair, very fair.
Who is, I'm glad you agree, he is someone who is not just talented, but a truly good person on the inside. He's the kind of person who thinks about not just the way he feels, but the way you're going to feel. And
I like that. So yeah, any of this commentary that you hear is not me right now. It's me from the recording already. Yep.
When Steven Spielberg asked me who should compose the score for Jurassic World, only one person came to mind, and that is...
Wow, this is just so fitting for our show here today.
Yeah. Michael is because he can see every note and he can feel every note. And what?
I didn't say anything.
Hey.
Keep going.
What's
Hi,
up?
Colin.
Hey, man.
Oh, here comes Michael.
Hi, how are you?
Let's go.
I didn't know you were here. I'm so sorry. Yeah, we're not playing Jurassic World tonight.
Aw.
I texted you, but I don't know if you...
Hey, you invited me.
Yeah, but in the seats. It was in the seats. I'm really sorry. I'm so sorry about this. It's a little awkward, but we're good, right? We're good? Yeah. Right?
Yeah, it's fine. It's cool.
See you on the next...
Yeah, we're good. Yeah, see ya.
Oh, yeah. Wait, is that our confirmation right there? Wait,
Was that really?
is that our confirmation? Because we've never heard anything about these two, or
Did we just,
Giacchino.
like, break this and leak this right now in this
Whoa,
very podcast
I mean-
at this very moment?
I mean, this happened back in October, so I don't know if we broke it, but it happened, and he
well,
just...
no one knows, and we just posted it here, so...
I mean, I've been saying like we have no official confirmation, and any of the press releases and stuff like that never really settled the score. That's the title of this song, I guess, that he's gonna play. But we don't know, and I guess we do now. Let me go back here for a second. Hold on.
It's fine. It's cool.
See you on the next...
Yeah, we're good. Yeah, see ya.
Yeah, there we go. See you on the next one. Yeah. We're doing it.
Okay, cool. I'll just let you wrap it up here.
That's
All right.
awesome. All right, so that's the audio there. So sorry if you already heard that, but I just wanted to play it for anybody out there who hasn't heard it yet, because it's pretty darn interesting when you think about it. You know, Colin has that funny little interaction with Giacchino, and they said, see ya. Giacchino's like, see ya on the next one. And Colin's like, yeah, we'll see you on the next one. So that's confirmation enough for me. I am good enough with that little tidbit to say Giacchino's going to be back for sure. No problem there. So I was very excited, as you may have heard there in that little clip. But I was so pumped to hear that. And I think we have a lot to look forward to with Jurassic World 3 and Michael Giacchino and all that stuff. So truly, we do not have an official confirmation, but I think when it's coming from the creator, Giacchino, and the creator, Colin Trevorrow, I think it's safe enough to assume that Giacchino will return. So I just wanted to relay that information for you guys here today. So that's awesome. I am really excited by that. So I think it's time that we dive into, because I don't think I had anything else outside of that as far as news is concerned. So let me see here. No, yeah, let's move over to some of the questions, because we have some deep stuff, we have some light stuff, we got some fun stuff here. So let me bring up this thing here. Where did I put it? Questions. All right, here we go. All right, so first one here that I want to talk about is from Mike over on Facebook. It says, what we want in Jurassic World for a villain if Biosyn should be part of the movie. All right, so I had asked everybody, what do you want me to talk about in this episode? So what do we kind of want for a villain in Jurassic World 3? And do we think Biosyn should be a part of this movie? So this is interesting. I don't know. The villain thing is always an interesting concept for Jurassic, because villain is almost a little too harsh of a term, I would think, right, guys? Like, don't you think? I think villain is, it's kind of suited more for like Marvel stuff, DC kind of stuff, or other action movies. But like Jurassic, it's almost just like, I feel like bad guy is more of the right term, but we kind of treaded into villain territory with Fallen Kingdom. So it's really hard to say like what kind of villain we could get. Going back, let's go all the way back, right? So we got hints at Biosyn. Of course, they never mentioned Biosyn in the first movie, but we have Dodgson and Nedry. They're kind of like the foils there, outside of the dinosaurs. The dinosaurs are pretty much always villains, but Dodgson and Nedry, certainly the bad guys of that movie. They make everything kind of go bad. With the Lost World, we had Ludlow, and I think he's like probably my favorite villain, just because he's like just so greedy and such a despicable guy. There's really no redeeming qualities about him. At least with Nedry, you kind of find him endearing, just because he's underpaid and he's overworked and all that stuff, and you understand why he's doing it. With Ludlow, you don't really you know he's just a jerk, and you don't know why, and it's like, all right, man, like let's chill out. You're a bad guy. Jurassic Park 3 comes along, and we don't really have a bad guy in that movie, to be honest. We have the Kirby's, I guess you could say, there's a lot of partial bad guys, right? There's some partial bad guys in this movie. You got the Kirby's that are like, we sucked you into coming back to this island. So they're kind of partially bad. You have like Udesky, Cooper, and Nash, who are kind of like, a little bad. They kind of knock Grant out on the plane, so that's a little bad. And then, of course, Billy is like kind of a little bit of a foil there. We're like not really sure if we can trust him. And then Jurassic World comes around. We have Hoskins, of course. And Dr. Wu is like officially set up as kind of like a conniving, like villainous type. He could be a little evil at his center, so it's interesting. But I think Hoskins was just like another kind of greedy guy with bad intentions, stuff like that. But he wasn't necessarily. I don't know. I mean, maybe there's a lot more behind the scenes, and it really feels like there's a lot behind the scenes that's kind of unspoken with Hoskins, I think, and Wu, to be honest. And then Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom comes around, and we have Mills and that whole crew. Now certainly, what's his name? Wheatley is just a bad dude. Like, he's just not a guy you want to know. And Mills is a murderer. Like, he is the worst villain that we've had in all these movies. He straight up murdered Benjamin Lockwood for everything. So that's pretty bad. So where do we go from there? Do we have another villain? Is it Biosyn? I personally think that would be the best option, would be to have Biosyn return here and come back and be the corporation that's behind it. I don't know if we necessarily need a bad guy, but if there's a group of people like mercenaries or something like that, that's fine. But I think there's so many heroes at this point. It's almost like, let's chill out with the villains this time around. Let's make the problems the story and not necessarily the villains, the people. So let's make the problems like doing whatever we need to do with the dinosaurs, getting the safety, saving people, that kind of thing. So I hope we don't go too deep with a villain here. I don't really think we need to center it around a person all that much. So, you go back to Jurassic Park, and like Nedry is a very small part of that movie. Ludlow is a pretty major part. He goes from pretty much beginning to end. Like I said, Jurassic Park 3 is kind of like a mashup. There's not really a lot going on there. Jurassic World, beginning to end. Fallen Kingdom, beginning to end for the most part. So I would love it if we went back to that Jurassic Park style, where it's like the villain is just a small role, a foil that like lets something go out of control or enacts the path that they're on somehow. I think that would be the way to go. And I think if Biosyn is a part of it, I think that would be perfect, because like, they're fighting against a corporation or something like that. That would be pretty good. I think that would be pretty good. Let's see here. Let's go to the next one, which is also, I believe, about Biosyn. So Ryson here says maybe about there being something to, talking more about Biosyn. So I think with Biosyn, I think the best way to tie them in, obviously, would be maybe they were at the Lockwood auction. I think that would be really, really cool to tie that in. And you could actually repeat some of those scenes. Now, I know a lot of people would probably be against that, but it would be cool to kind of have that moment where in Jurassic World 3, we realize Dodgson has been a part of it this whole time, obviously with the recast. But like show some like flashbacks of him driving to the Lockwood estate, pulling up, parking the car, handing the car to the keys to the valet or whatever it was, and then walking in, getting a seat. Like the chaos is unfolding, him trying to get to safety, and maybe he steals some important information, or maybe one of his people was the group that got one of the dinosaurs and sent them off. I think that would be really, really cool. So hopefully we get some sort of flashback like that. That would be really cool, because I think you need some sort of company to back the amount of money that you're talking about with those dinosaurs for sale. So if Biosyn was secretly at that auction, it's not something that we actually focused on in Fallen Kingdom, it would be cool to revisit that scene very quickly in the beginning of the movie or something like that, and just see them kind of, put the bid out, take the dinosaur into their custody or whatever, or just watch the chaos unfold via Biosyn, and then see what their next step is to try to obtain a dinosaur if they didn't get one at the auction. I think that would be really, really cool, to be honest. So yeah, man, you guys are stirring the conversation. I've tried to mostly stay away from Jurassic World 3 conversation as far as like what do I think it is, because I haven't really known, and I don't really know. I still don't know, but I think like this type of back and forth is pretty good for discovering like what's happening. So let's move on here to the next one. Thank you guys, Mike and Ryson. Let's go. Oh, we got Clayton here. You guys know Clayton Fioriti. Let me take a drink here first. This question. Read this question, guys. I love this question. I'm a beard guy. I like beards. So Clayton, will Ian Malcolm's beard level up like it has in each previous sequel he's been in? That is a perfect question right there. Clayton, you're really getting to the bottom of the best questions out there for Jurassic World 3. I really appreciate all the effort that you're putting in here. Let's go ahead and I prepared for this, guys. So I am ready to talk about this. All right, so I gotta go back here. All right, so transitioning over, guys. Actually, you know what I should probably do? I should probably put that question in so you guys know exactly what we're talking about here. Oops. Too many things at once. Oh, that stinks. Oh, that's going to be hard. All right, never mind about the question part. All right. Sorry. All right, so here we got the levels. We're going to talk about Malcolm's beard here because Clayton Fioriti asked. So let's see what we have. We have Ian Malcolm back in the Jurassic Park days. Look at his beard level. There's not much happening there, right, guys? I mean, I got to move myself. No, that's fine. There's not really much happening there as far as his beard level is concerned. It's just a littlest amount of stubble. So let's go over here to the Lost World. All right, so it's definitely a bit more. There's certainly a bit more beard level here. I still don't call this beard because when you go back to this one, it's this. He literally just shaved before showing up to the island. Lost World, he maybe hasn't shaved since maybe yesterday. So not a lot going on there. Now, the thing is, by the end of the movie, right? So by the end of the Lost World, excuse me, they go to the island, they do all that stuff, and then they come home back to San Diego, right? And he's trying to relax. He's trying to take it easy, to chill on his couch. But he shaves. He shaves by the end of the movie, right, guys? So look at that. So we go from this level here, back in Jurassic Park, to this level, to back to pretty much Jurassic Park levels when he shaves it down here. So this is, again, a clean shave. Earlier this morning, he clean shaved it at the end of the Lost World. And then, guys, we don't see him again until Fallen Kingdom, right? So it's been a while. You know what I don't have, which I should probably bring up here. Let me see if I can find that. But let me bring this up in the meantime. But we have Fallen Kingdom. He's got some great beard levels here, and he is aged, guys. Like there's a lot going on since 1997. I'm gonna look up this information here. I want to find one more potential instance. Okay. All right, so I don't know how. Yeah, this is probably not all that accurate. I don't even know. Was that in the movie at all? Well, let's bring it up anyway. We see. Oh yeah, we do. Okay, it is this. So this is I don't know. This image is from like Pinterest or something. But you can get a glimpse of Ian Malcolm in Jurassic World. There is a very, very quick glimpse, which let me try to add it to this slideshow real quick for you guys. All right, so I want to bring up this picture here. And all right, so all right, back to this one. All right, so there we have Ian Malcolm from the book that you see in Jurassic World. There is a very quick shot of him when the, what do you call her? Blanking on her name, but the girl who's watching Zach and Gray throughout the day, she is reading the book behind Zach, and you can see this picture of Ian Malcolm here, which is pretty much just a Lost World picture. So yeah, that is the same thing. Like literally that picture was probably taken during the promotion, or this is like a costume fitting or something like that. So it's the same Ian Malcolm from back then. God creates dinosaurs. But then, like I said, we have Fallen Kingdom Malcolm with the big beard. What kind of beard levels are we assuming for Fallen Kingdom, for Jurassic World 3? Oh, man. I mean, I would love to see him, just because I love the old Malcolm, I would love to see him go back to the old Malcolm stylings. You know, like this Malcolm looks great, right? I think he looks pretty good. But I do love the bearded Malcolm as well. So, if anything, if they're going to stay with the bearded Malcolm, I think they need to change something up to give him more of a freeing style, because this looks very strict, like a very, maybe because he was before the Senate or something like that, but loosen up his hair a little bit. Maybe give him a bigger beard. I think a bigger beard or no beard again. So let's see where they go next. I don't know, Clayton, and I know your question was a joke, but I went for it, man. I really went for it. So I hope everybody is Zara. That's Zara. That's her name. Yeah, I was blanking on that for a second. I hope everybody enjoyed our look at Malcolm's beard levels. So let's go ahead and move on to some more questions here, because I know you guys have some more questions. So transitioning back over. All right, there's the beard question. Clayton again. He asks, let's see here. How about, what are you looking forward to as far as dinosaur set pieces go? How do you want them interacting in the new environment, and how often do you think the people will be dealing with them now that they're wild? That's a good question. What am I looking forward to as far as dinosaur set pieces? Well, I'm hoping this is kind of like a globe-trotting kind of a movie. So I just want, the wild, I guess. But I think, they're going to be filming in Vancouver. So I think there's certainly a possibility that we'll get, wilderness, like kind of something to replicate, like a tall forest or something like that. So I think the kind of like that Battle at Big Rock style forest set piece would be pretty cool. Continuing from that, I do want something like in the desert. I would love something set in the desert with dinosaurs. We kind of got that in Jurassic World Live Tour, which was awesome to see that kind of setting. And let me tell you, that setting was beautiful. Like, it was beautiful, like, because they have these big backdrops for Jurassic World Live Tour, and it was amazing. So I really want to see them return to the desert, and just see dinosaurs in a desert or in Africa, like on safari kind of deal. I think that would be really cool. Like somewhere that's kind of like just not like just like brown, like sand, dirt, like that. I don't want just like jungle or just like redwood forest. I want to switch it up, and I want to see something with like ice and snow. I think that would be pretty good too. And I don't know. I mean, I think we're gonna get. I would assume we would get some set pieces like in the Lost World with the trackers, the hunters, going out and trying to track down these dinosaurs with like hopefully like cool vehicles like they had in the Lost World. That would be pretty awesome. But as far as the next portion of this, how do you think people will be dealing with them now that they're wild, or how often? I had an interesting thought the other day about how often people would be dealing with them. So we got a bunch of dinosaurs that got out from Lockwood's estate, and then a year later we see Battle at Big Rock, which is the first encounter, but I believe the others happened before this. The Pteranodons in Las Vegas, the Mosasaurus in, I think they said it was California, or I don't know where they said that was. I forget. It was in the motion comic, so it was there. If anybody has it, let me know. And then, of course, there was a bunch of stuff in those motion comics, like the Triceratops Stegosaurus battle on the streets. There was, what else was there? Oh, yeah, so they even touched on Battle at Big Rock. So I think it would be interesting to subvert our expectations, right, guys? So right now, we're so stuck on the theory that dinosaurs are out. Dinosaurs are wild. This is going to be crazy. This is going to be nuts. Dinosaurs are everywhere. Well, not really. We know they're not everywhere. But, oh, sorry. Oh, there goes my background. Readjust. All right, so we're so stuck on this theory that dinosaurs are wild. I don't know that this would happen, but let's just think about it for a second here. If they did want to subvert our expectations, do something very different and interesting, I don't know how interesting, but do something very different than what we're expecting, what if they're all caught? What if they got them all? What if that's not the problem going into the next movie? The problem that they're showing us is in these motion comics and other, maybe hopefully they'll do some other stuff over 2020 here. But maybe that's not the issue moving into Jurassic World 3. So with all this other media, motion comics or whatever it may be, maybe they're showing us all these encounters that now because they're not going to do it then. Like even in Battle at Big Rock, we got all those little clips of people interacting with dinosaurs. So that would be really interesting to see, like, kind of like the end of the Lost World, but in the beginning of Jurassic World 3. It's like, look, all the dinosaurs have been caught, and they are here in this place once again. I know that would be a little boring, I think, personally, but I think it would be an interesting way to subvert our expectations, and maybe there's a cool workaround that could make it interesting. I don't know what that is. I haven't really thought that far, but I just thought about the idea of, like, what if they subvert our expectations and do something that we're not expecting and just have them all caught? Because so many of us are sitting here thinking, maybe a lot of dinosaurs got out, but how bad is that? How bad is that really going to be? We didn't see any raptors or anything like that get out. If raptors got out, I think that would be a problem. Smaller dinosaurs that are small and vicious like that, I think that would be the biggest issue, because I think the other ones you could just catch. I think you could just catch them fine and be done with it. The T-Rex, which I don't understand what they were doing in the motion comic. That doesn't make too much sense to me. But I think that would be an easy dinosaur to catch. So I don't know what they're doing, but I think that would be an interesting way to tackle the next movie and set up a completely different storyline that we're not expecting. So I don't know. I think it would be cool to see that. But let's move on here. So thank you, Clayton, for those questions. That was awesome. And this was all on our Facebook group again. So if you guys want to join our Facebook group, go answer those 2 questions. Search for us on Facebook, and just answer those 2 questions, and we'll get you into that group. If you don't answer the questions or get them wrong or whatever it is, try again, and we'll accept you a second, third time, whatever it may be. Next question here is from Greg? I'm not too sure. Sorry about the pronunciation there. How long do we want the new movie to be? If it's the last one, I'd like it at least 2.5 hours. Okay, this is an interesting one. Right now, there's a lot of debate and ongoing discourse over whether The Rise of Skywalker was long enough. Personally, I loved the movie, but I do think that movie needed to be at least 3 hours. I think there was so much crammed into that movie, which we've been talking about, because we've been comparing the end of this trilogy with Jurassic to the end of that series with Star Wars. So we kind of have been talking about how much needs to be fit into these movies in order to conclude them. So I agree. I think it needs to be at least 2.5, if not more. With The Rise of Skywalker, I think it absolutely needed to be 3 hours to fit everything in. It's a little crammed, despite me actually loving it. With Jurassic, I'll be honest with you here. I don't think this is the end. I don't think this is the end of the series. So I think potentially this is the end of this storyline, and maybe we'll move into a new front, a new territory. But I don't think this is the end of Jurassic. There's too much money left on the table if you say this is the end, guys. You know, with Star Wars, they're not ending it. They're ending, in quotes, the saga, the Skywalker saga, but there's so many other stories to tell. Same goes for Jurassic. If they do end this 6-film arc, there's so many more stories to tell, and this could just be the beginning. You know, this really could only be the beginning for the Jurassic stories. So I do think, though, that when you have the big 3, that looked like 4 for some reason. What was I doing? Where's my hand? The big 3, you have Daniela Pineda, Justice Smith, you got Chris Pratt, Bryce Dallas Howard, Isabella Sermon as Maisie. You have B.D. Wong, Mamoudou Athie, DeWanda Wise. We're up to 11 now, guys. This is 11. Is there other ones? Did I miss anybody? I don't know. Probably. But there, at least 11 people in this cast, which is kind of crazy. So, you know, we know the big 3 are major roles. We know at least Chris and Bryce are going to be major roles. So yeah, it's interesting. 2.5 hours might not cut it, but I know, you know, with these movies, they tend to not be 2.5 hours or 3 hours. So I do agree. I think it needs to be a long one. If they are going to conclude any kind of storyline here, it needs to be a bit longer. And hopefully, with a lot of the discourse going on here with The Rise of Skywalker, hopefully we can kind of learn from that and see what Avengers Endgame did at their level with that amount of money that they earned with the length of that film. So it would be great to see a little bit longer Jurassic movie here for Jurassic World 3. But yeah, thank you, dude, for that question. Next up here, we got James. James, what are you doing, man? He wants me to talk about the amount of gray hairs that have appeared, if any, since starting the podcast. I don't know if you can see him here. No, probably not. There's a lot. There's a lot of gray hairs since starting this in 2015. Yeah. So It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work and a lot of hours, a lot of staying up late. So a lot of stress, guys. But James, I love you, man. Oh, Steven. Shelves. Come on, dude. If anybody didn't listen to the Jurassic mailbag, we talked for quite a while about shelves. I kid you not. It's odd. It makes no sense, but we did it. So, yeah, go check it out. The Jurassic mailbag, it's 2 hours plus with a whole conversation about shelves at the end of the episode. So stay tuned for that. We even play some music for you guys. I think you'll enjoy it, maybe. Steven again here says, let's see, do you think there will be any surprise cameos from previous characters who aren't the big three, Lex, Tim, Kelly, etc.? Oh man. I hope so. I hope they go big. I really hope they go big with this one. I think that would be awesome, right? If they went huge and they got all of those people to be a part of this movie, that would be fantastic. I would really love that. Lex, Tim, Kelly. I think it would be interesting to hopefully learn, because I don't think you can go undiscussed as far as Ellie's family is concerned. Do you guys agree? Like, if we go into Jurassic World 3 and there is no mention of Ellie's family, is that a little weird? I think it's a little weird, right? I think there at least needs to be a little conversation about, are they still together? Are they apart? What happened? What's going on? Who's who? Where is everybody? Where's Charlie? Where's the baby? I would love to know what the status is. So if we get a grown-up Charlie at this point, because it was 2001 and he was like 3 years old or something, I don't know. Yeah, that would be a big dude at this point. So I would love a random cameo like that. Kelly would be awesome. Kelly Malcolm returning here. Lex and Tim, I think, would be awesome. As they keep announcing all these characters, I just want them to add all of them. I just want fan service to go wild at this point. I want them to go wild and hit that 3-hour mark with all the fan service. So give us all the surprise cameos. And I think, honestly, I think Dodgson would be a nice surprise cameo. But I want it to be a larger role if he does show up. So I think that would be a good one. Anybody else? I don't really feel like. I think Sarah Harding would be an interesting one. I think that would also, another thing that I think would need to be addressed a little bit, to see, if Sarah Harding is not in this, why? And of course that would be an easy answer. They did it in the first movie. Is he talked about all the ex-Mrs. Malcolms and everything. So it's a very easy, an easy out for the character if they don't want to include Sarah Harding. It just didn't work out for them. But yeah, I don't know. I would love more surprises, more cameos. And I think there will be. I'm going to say yes. I think there will be surprise cameos. I just don't know who. I think it would be awesome to have all of them. Any of them. I would be happy with any of them. Mark Degler comes back. Give him. Yeah, I would be glad. I would be very happy. I would love to see what's going on with that family. The Kirbys. I would love to see the Kirbys return. And I've kind of joked about that before. How funny it would be to just see a Pteranodon landing on their house, or in the parking lot at the mall where they have the Kirby paint and tile plus. I think that would be pretty funny, something along those lines. But yes, I'm going to go out on a limb and say yes, there will be surprise cameos. I think that would be awesome. Let's see here. Oh, all right. So we got one here from YouTube. Sorry, I'm thirsty again. So we have kind of been talking about Jurassic World 3. So Matthew asks, Jurassic World 3 plot theories. And also I'd love to hear your opinion on if we'd ever get a Spinosaurus versus T-Rex rematch as well. Spinosaurus T-Rex rematch. I would love it if we did, and I would love it if the Spinosaurus won again, guys. I would love it. Please, Colin, if you're watching, if you're listening, set it up, dude. Set up the rematch, and everybody will be like, I saw this coming from a mile away. The T-Rex is going to win, guys. And then it doesn't, and he does it again and breaks everybody's hearts again. I would absolutely love that. Colin, please do it. Please, man. I'm begging you. Set it up somehow. I don't know how. Set it up. A rematch of a lifetime here. Spinosaurus versus T-Rex. Just not Rexy. Don't let it be Rexy. Let it be a different one. Because if it's Rexy, I'd be real mad. All right? But if it's just any old T-Rex, let's do it. Let's have the Spinosaurus win again to throw it in everybody's face yet again. That would be hilarious and awesome. I'd be totally down for that. As far as the plot theories and everything, yeah, I kind of mentioned before that I haven't really touched too much on them, but I did kind of touch on the opening of like how I think they should at least start the movie. But yeah, I've kind of talked a little bit about how the working title for this, the production title that they're using right now, is Arcadia, and how, yeah, of course the production titles don't necessarily mean much, but in the past for Jurassic, they actually have. They really have tied into the movie. So I think with Arcadia, if you're talking about that, you're talking about unspoiled territory. You're talking about the boat from the Fallen Kingdom movie. So I think there's a lot of tie-ins there to getting dinosaurs back to safety or something like that. And like I said about the intro or the setup for this movie, maybe it's already happened. Maybe they are safe already. That would be really interesting to see the DPG has already done their job and everybody is safe. Everybody has relied on the DPG. They are the saviors or whatever it may be for America or, countries around the world, wherever dinosaurs ended up. But as far as where you go from there, I have no clue. And I just don't know how you bring the big three back into the fold. I have no clue how that happens. Hopefully we get some kind of context clues as the production starts to roll out next month. That would be really cool. Hopefully we can learn some stuff. But give me that Spino T-Rex rematch. So we're back to the beginning here. So that's it as far as those questions are concerned. Let me move this out of the way. But so let me actually go, because we are at the 52-minute mark here. I'd like to go ahead and go over to the conversations that you guys have been having over on the side, which it already looks like it's a little rough. So let's go through here and take a look. Scrolling back to the beginning. Yeah, Kevin O'Bill asked about Lex Murphy. We kind of touched on that a little bit. Hatbox Ghost says, long time no talk JP podcast. Been off for a while with the holidays. Have you been off, or have I been off? What's going on here? Because we were back last week, so if you have been gone, hopefully you caught up. We actually released a bunch of podcast episodes, and a Let's Talk Jurassic last week, as well as other videos and stuff like that. So yeah, we're still here, still kicking. And I have seen a lot of reboot talk recently. I don't know why. So Kevin again here mentions, will Jurassic Park get a reboot? No, it's not getting a reboot. It's not happening. Not happening, guys. I don't know why that keeps coming up. Let's see, what else we got here? Will I be reviewing more Jurassic World toys this year? Yeah, we'll get around to it. Haven't really had a lot of time to film those and edit those. They take a long time. I've been actually working on other videos for my personal channel. If you guys go check out my personal channel, just look for me, Brad Jost, here on YouTube. I have a lot of videos over there, so I've been doing a lot of stuff for that instead. Instead of editing toy videos. So those take a long time to process. Um, Austin Young mentions would love to see Dodgson back with Ed Harris playing him. Yeah, I think that would be pretty cool. Ed Harris is a bit too old at this point, I believe, to be playing Dodgson, because if you consider Dodgson, he's probably in his 30s, late 30s back then, I would assume. Um, Ed Harris, let's see. Ed Harris is 69. So I just think he's a little too old and a little too different looking. He's, of course, a great actor and everything, but I just don't think he would really fit the bill personally. I feel like you need to get a little slimier, a little different, more akin to what Dodgson looked like in the first movie. So I think, what's his name? Let's see. I forget what his name is. Where is it? All right, Bob Odenkirk, I think would be a great one. So I think he would pull it off. You know, he is Saul Goodman from Breaking Bad, and he's, you know, the lead in Better Call Saul. I think he would be a perfect fit for Dodgson. But yeah, I don't know. That would be at least my pick. I think he would be pretty slimy, pretty good. Like he would actually be a good lead for this, I think. But who knows? Let's see what else we got here. Luis Lopez says full beard on the next movie for sure. I like that idea. Full beard on the next movie, and let's get that thing huge, huge beard. Yeah, and Emily Lombardo says, I mean, how often do humans truly come into contact with a bear? I bet it won't be as often as we would think, but Battle at Big Rock assumes otherwise. Yeah, I mean, I guess. I don't know if it assumes otherwise. It really only shows a small handful. What did we see? Five or six, something like that, 4 or 5 attacks overall, including the main one. So, you know, if you Google, you know, YouTube, you know, animal attacks, you'll come across hundreds of thousands of videos probably. So I don't think 4 to 5 to 6 would really be all that big of a deal as far as encounters are concerned. And then if you add the other ones from Fallen Kingdom, you're talking about 3 more. So yeah, it really, that's not really that many encounters. So I think I think that's accurate, you know, as far as what we would see from the world. I think we don't really come across, you know, too many animals. I mean, on my drive to work, unfortunately, there's a lot of deer that have been hit by cars on the side of the road. So it just depends, I guess, on, you know, the animal and the place where you are and stuff like that, and how many people are traveling through this area. If you're talking about the Northwest, it's a lot of, like, you know, a lot of unspoiled territory, I guess. So yeah, I don't know. I don't really know how much we would come across here. And Rebel Commander 7 Star Wars Jurassic says, I really do not like The Rise of Skywalker. Sorry, bud. I love it, man. There's a lot to like about it. Go watch my video on my other channel where I talk all about the good points of it. I think it's better than people give it credit. Xenomorphosaurus says, I'm new to the channel. What's up? Thank you for joining, and thank you for watching. We got a lot of stuff here. This is the Jurassic Park podcast where, you know, I know a lot of people don't necessarily go back and forth. We do have a podcast, so if you have an app on your phone that you can listen to podcasts, or even if you don't download one, search for our podcast, the Jurassic Park podcast. We've got hundreds of episodes up there, and we do all kinds of stuff. That's our main thing. But of course, here on YouTube, we do live streams like this. We do toy videos, toy hunts. We do events like going out to see Jurassic World live tour, going to media days, press days, stuff like that, going out to theme parks, covering Jurassic in all facets, in every possible way, shape, and form. So that's what we do here. Let's see here. Yeah, Matthew here says, I wish they would bring back Sarah again. I totally agree. I think that'd be great. Rebel Commander 7 again here says, I am sorry, but I would utterly hate the movie if the T-Rex died and the Spino won another time. I am sorry, but a T-Rex would win if it was a real legit fight. I'm sorry. It just would just think about it. I don't know what that means. But yeah, it would have to be it would have to be not Rexy, because that would be the bad thing. I legit do not understand why anybody is mad about the Spinosaurus kill in JP3. Makes zero sense to me. I don't know why anybody is mad about that. It's not the T-Rex that we know and love from the first movie. It's just a random smaller T-Rex. Means absolutely nothing. We got to know it not at all. It just showed up eating some junk on the side of the trail. And the Spinosaurus came in, demolished it. Awesome. Set it up as a great villain. I don't understand why anybody is mad about that. It's not the T-Rex we knew and loved from Jurassic Park, so what does it matter? So that the hate and the anger that people have for that moment really boggles my mind. But I would love to see it happen again. I would absolutely love to see it happen again. Just don't let it happen to Rexy, because then it becomes that moment that you're talking about where everybody's up in arms and going crazy about, why did it happen? Why? Well, I get it then, but I don't understand the Jurassic Park 3 upset there. It doesn't make any sense. But yeah, that's about it, guys. We've hit our hour mark here, so I really appreciate everybody who stuck around for this chat here tonight. It's been a blast, guys. It's been a lot of fun, and I like actually going out and answering everybody's questions. I think that's actually pretty fun. Most of the time, I come up with all the topics and comments all myself, or I ask some contributors and stuff like that. But I think reaching out to everybody in the community, seeing what everybody else thinks is awesome. That's why, if you guys go download the Jurassic Park podcast today, you can find the Jurassic Mailbag, which is like one of our biggest segments, one of our most loved segments, of course, because that's exactly what we do. Is we get the phone calls from everybody, we get the emails from everybody, get to know exactly what the real fan base of Jurassic is thinking out there, and we answer your questions, get to the bottom of some things and not at all other things, but or we just talk about shelves for 20 minutes. But yeah, it's a great thing, and I love talking to you guys. I love talking to the other, the viewers, the other community members out there, the bigger community members, the smaller community members, whoever you may be. I love talking to all of you who interact with us, so thank you guys so much for that. But yeah, go to JurassicParkPodcast.com. You'll find all of our information there, everything regarding the podcast, where you can find us, where you can subscribe. We have articles, videos, all kinds of stuff on the website, so interact with us there as well. And yeah, follow us on Twitter at Jurassic Park Pod. Like I said about our Facebook group, go search for the Jurassic Park Podcast on Facebook. Search for our group, answer those 2 questions to get in the group. If you don't answer those questions, we reject it. Go ahead, redo the submission there, answer the questions if you get rejected, and we'll try to get you into that group. We like to have it like a tight-knit group of people who listen to the podcast or watch the videos, so we have a good community of people there. So we really appreciate that if you would go to Facebook, join up in that group. Follow us over on Instagram. We're just the Jurassic Park Podcast over there, so look out for a lot of cool images, videos, or whatever it may be over there. But yeah, that's about it, guys. Stay tuned for more videos this week. Next week, we'll have another Let's Talk Jurassic for you, as we do every Wednesday night. So thank you guys so much for that. But yeah, it's been fun, guys. So why don't we go ahead and get out of here. say goodbye. Thanks, guys. Enjoy.